Ready for this? Does it tell me how many? Okay, here we go. And we might do some figure drawings later, but right now we're just gonna warm up with some faces. So you gotta tell me in the chat when you see the face. There we go. That's a pretty good start. Dig in there. Sighs and gazes upon my tower of cola and zero. I need to pull the song down. All right. What's been up with y'all? Tell me how you been. How's your week? Anything new in pop culture? Have you been playing any new games or making any new art or listening to any new music or shows or anything like that? What's new with everyone? Have you been making art? Any kind of new art you've been working on that we could hear about? Would love that. So that's a pretty good start. Jiggle around so much. Okay, so that come together pretty quickly, doesn't it? To use a couple of these. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, yeah. We was gonna do something different today, but couldn't get my iPhone communicating with my computer very well today. Alright, what do we think about that? That's not too bad. Pretty good start. Alright, so let's smudge it around. So I'm just using a paper towel now. We're just smudging. I'm gonna switch hands just cause. And right when you smear that charcoal around, you see it gets you a nice little like middle area. Nice little soft. He looks distinguished. Well, thank you, Obscura. Maybe I should have put a bow tie on him. I also do some figures too, so instead of just portraits, maybe we'll do some figures while we're streaming tonight. And now I'm just using an eraser, like a gum eraser. Just this kind of stretchy eraser. Maybe you've seen it before. But you know, I'm using it like almost like white charcoal, you know, so it's kind of like reductive or distinguished color. Okay, something like that. It's not too bad. And then let's like find some even brighter highlights to just find this a little more. We want some high contrast areas here in his eyes. Something like that there, and then we'll bring some more of that dark back with. So now I'm just gonna try to make like the darkest parts of the drawing. The darkest parts of the drawing kind of like force the viewer to kind of focus on certain parts of the drawing. So wherever you put the highest contrast, and this is true in filmmaking and music and photography and everything in life, I guess, but the more contrast you have, the more it pulls attention from your viewer. I'm going to use like an electric eraser here to kind of pull out these little highlights in the eyes. One of these guys. And there's our first face. What do you think? Let me see this out. Are we not at the bottom here? How come my stream chat isn't refreshing? Let me see. What up? Let me see something here. Amelia says, look. Alright, let me make sure we got all our screens back together. Okay, so that's our first face of the evening. See some details. What do you think about it? How you like those details? Right, let's keep cooking. Distinguished gentleman. Let's do a distinguished gentle lady this time, maybe, if we can. Obscura digs it. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna do another one. Something like that. That was kind of wild. Let's get in there. What do you think? Alright, so now got some shadows maybe. Let's do it a little backwards from usual. See what happens. Okay, like this. You know, and I'm not trying to be too picky about what I draw. You know, I want to leave it loose and unrefined, and I also don't want to feel any pressure when I'm drawing, like emotional stress. I just want to relax and have a nice time. So that when I'm drawing the picture, I try not to kind of like decide what it should look like or dictate the overall image, and kind of just let the picture kind of unfold in front of me in a similar way that it must be unfolding in front of you as a viewer, you know? So build some details here, something like that. Try not to pick up my pencil, but sometimes, from time to time, it can make the marks a little more interesting if maybe you pull your pencil up a little bit. Alright, so our eraser here and start finding some highlight. Oh, if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure and subscribe. Like the stream so more people come see it. If you like the stream, it'll go to YouTube's homepage, or it'll push it to more people's vertical streams if they're at home swiping. So please do me a favor and like the stream, sub to the page, If you also use Twitch, we're also on Twitch. If you rather a horizontal stream than a vertical stream, we have all of them. There's another horizontal stream on YouTube if you rather the if you want to see my face. Also on Twitch. But like, subscribe, follow, be a friend, be a fan, be a family member. Alright, same game here, y'all. There we go. Dig in the eyes. Thanks, Obscura. Flag says I missed my wife tails. What does that mean? You missed your wife tails. What is that? What does that mean? Alright. Are you saying your wife is Tails? Has anybody got any requests? Otherwise, I'm gonna move on to some jazz musicians. I know I like to do the jazz. So let's do. Drawing so many of these. How far do we have to scroll down before we see something we haven't drawn before? Let's see. Okay, this could be fun. Okay, let's do this. Are any of you musicians? Any of you play any instruments? Right. So let's do. One of my pencils is dying, but that's just a fun little battle we're gonna have to fight with. And make the whole area a little more interesting, maybe. And there's some foreshortening here on this guitar. That maybe. So that's just a start. Clarinet. Mike plays clarinet. In reference to a funny fan dub of the Sonic Adventure 2. I was right, but you didn't spell Tails with a capital T, so I wasn't quite sure. You gotta capitalize correct places. How will I know? Okay, so maybe that's a hand, something like that. And again, I'm trying to do this thing where I don't want to judge my drawing at all. I just want to just draw and have fun drawing rather than judging myself about the drawing. Trying to draw lines that feel like maybe they would be in a signature, that are fun to draw and fun to move my pencil around in certain ways, So instead of being concerned with whether everything's in the right place or let's just put some lines down in a general area, and if they work, they work, and if they don't, oh well. Somebody will just have to get used to it, It's so easy to kind of really overanalyze and really kind of try to make everything perfect on everything we do all the time, but give yourself some opportunities to not do something perfect. Give yourself some grace and some time to kind of just scribble or make some music or just sing or whatever you do. Take some time to not be too critical of yourself. I'm not your English teacher, Flag, but I am, number one, a writer. We just established that at the top of the stream. That I've been writing since before your little brother was born. And the other thing is, it was hard for me to tell what you were saying in the chat if you don't help me out. All right, so it look like these wearing this little vest thing here. Got this guitar here, heads. Get this guitar. There's probably some guitar knobs down here. We need to establish maybe that there. And I know it's probably just looks like chaos, and it is. But so what? Still pretty fun. What'd you say? You're like my girlfriend, but she's prettier though. Well, that's good. You mean she's a stickler about whether you write your English correctly, is what you're saying? She cares about grammar. What's up, Zoxa Cherry? Welcome to the chat. How are you today? Are you an artist? Because we're just doing some automatic drawings, and in this style of drawing, we don't concern ourselves too much about whether the drawing is perfect or not. We just kind of look for a line, we look for a shadow, we look for a highlight, and then we try to draw it. It doesn't have to be in the right place or the wrong place. Color right outside the line, But let's establish some lines to color outside of, if that makes any sense. So that's what we're doing here. We're just going to find some lines to color outside of. I'm just going to keep laying down highlights and shadows until eventually, if I'm lucky, maybe we'll see some kind of guy playing guitar here. Oh, we're both nerds? Well, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Let me see what's going on. Does this need to pop out here? Oh yeah, it does. There we go. Wasn't refreshing on the page. I'm sorry. Moontech. Alright, so let's keep finding some highlights here. Zoxa Cherry, are you an artist? Do you do any kind of drawings? I will ask again. Sorry to beg. I'm not sorry. Subscribe, please. Do me a favor and like the stream. You sub and like the stream, it'll help grow the community. All right, so I think that's it. I think we finished it. Second drawing of the stream. This is our guitarist. What do y'all think? What do you think? I bring this whole window down. That would be too convenient. All right, so let's go look at some details. What do you think? Is it just chaos? Look at the chaos. And it is, even from a distance. But the image really comes together when you have a little distance from you in the drawing. It kind of, the style of, let's say, impressionistic or expressive drawing. I think it kind of looks good the further you get away from it. You know what we still can do though? Let's pull darker details here, just to kind of give our audience a little something to focus on. Let's go. There we go. I can get with that. All right, now I need to stop. I don't want to overwork it. All right, moving on. All right, would anybody like to make a request? Sharpen these pencils and let's do another one. I think I like drawing guitars best, but all right, try this again. All right, here's somebody, here's something, here's some stuff here. This one goes down a little further. Something like that. And still not judging my drawing yet here. Let's just get the drawing out before we start getting like judgy with ourselves, or you know. Ooh, House is a good show. You know, like just just have fun drawing sometimes. You know, and don't be too concerned with how great it looks. You know, maybe it doesn't. You know, maybe there's something in a scribble and some kind of art that doesn't matter. That, you know, maybe you've tried art before and it didn't work, or you didn't have a nice time, or it was stressful, or you didn't feel like maybe you were good at it. Well, maybe try to do something abstract. Maybe to try to do something that isn't realistic. Like try to do something that doesn't look like anything. Your drawings don't have to look like something, you know? So I would encourage you to try to draw something that doesn't look like anything and see how you feel, and kind of, instead of looking for a drawing that like looks the perfect way, like try to be more concerned with like, are you having fun when you're doing that drawing? You know, and sometimes for me, and you know, every artist is different and everybody gets to make their own decisions, but sometimes it's more important for me to enjoy myself than it is for the drawing to be perfect. You know, if I'm not enjoying myself, like what's even the point, you know? So I'm just scribbling around here, so let's find some shadows here on our guy. Okay, you'll know it. I see shadows in the picture that I'm looking at online of this saxophone player, and I am following what I see technically, but also I'm not overly concerned. Like if it doesn't have to be all the lines in the right places, like we're just gonna see something on the paper and draw it, and then if it looks like the image I'm looking at, cool. If it doesn't, cool. You know, like it doesn't really matter. Like let's find like a happy spot between stressing myself out to draw something perfect and just kind of like having fun being expressive with art, you know? And try that, you know, if you're making art, I'm sure like all of us, you trying to make a perfect drawing or something that looks great or that's super impressive or that's realistic, or I mean, I don't know what everybody's intention are, but I know generally, you know, we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves when it comes to making art, but you don't have to. You know, there's so many things in your life where you have to keep that pressure up, and the pressure is important, or like the things are deserving of stress. But like, if you're just making art, let the stress go. You know, there's no sense in stressing about it. You only try to use the art to just like have a nice time. You know, and instead of asking yourself, is this the right proportions? Are these the right colors? Ask yourself, am I having a good time? You know? And I'll often say that, like, you know, that feeling of writing your signature, when you write your name so many times that it becomes fun to write your name. You know, there's a way in drawing where, like, just focus on the quality of the lines. Have fun drawing lines that you enjoy drawing. So instead of focusing on like the proportions or the realism, focus on the line quality. How many different kind of lines do I have? How many different kind of shadows do I have? You know? And it's not that you're not trying anymore. You're not trying to make great art. It's just, it's a different kind of method. It's a different kind of process. But I like to think if you're having fun, that the person looking at your art is going to have fun looking at it, you know? And if you're stressed out while you're making the art, then maybe the person looking at your art is also going to be stressed out, you know? And let's kind of like add some more relaxation into the world, you know? Does that make any sense? What's up, Lily Not Yours? Welcome to the chat. Be sure and like and follow, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Let's put some brighter highlights on this fella. And I think we can move on. Yeah, see those gum erasers that I use, they don't leave any of this eraser dust behind, you know? And it can be a pain in the ass, you know? But yeah, like, remind yourself that art is supposed to be fun. You know, you're supposed to love doing it. If you're stressing out about it, like let's reassess what we're doing, what decisions we're making, you know? There's so many things that you can be stressed out about. Let's let it not be art. You know, don't let it be art. Oops. Sorry about that. So many things you could be stressed about. Don't let it be art, you know? You subscribe. Thank you, Lily. What's up, Different Me? Welcome to the chat. Lily, are you an artist? Different Me, are you an artist? And Lily, thank you for being subscribed. This is a different angle. What you mean? Because I bumped it or because you've been watching on a different stream? Are you from one of the other streams? Different Me? Look, somebody's in the house to say poop. What's up, Martyr? Poop to you too. Welcome to the jam, my man. My guy, my gal, my non-binary pal. Oh, look, we got Flag Night Star over here on the vertical. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How we doing here? Yeah, if you are on the vertical, please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a subscribe. The more you like the stream, the more people that like the vertical, the more it pushes it into the algorithm. The more artists we'll have here to chat with us. So I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's a pretty big, ambitious goal, but it's what we do. So how long have we been streaming for? Okay, so we got 15 more minutes. You can get through 1 or 2 more drawings. Flag is still in here vibing with us. Alright, so let's do another face this time. Whoop, stepped on the tripod again. Okay. What do y'all think? What do we think? He's been taken out, back, and disposed of. The Martyr has? Oh, that's not fair. He was just being fun and funny. Welcome to the chat, Martyr. Poop to you. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a little bit of a ways to get there, right? 1 sub at a time, baby. That's all it is. So yeah, you see why I'm in here like, hey, y'all. Because, bruh, I got a long ways to go to get to 1,000. So, you sure you go sub? Do you have 2 YouTube accounts? If that's the case, maybe you could sub twice. You know? You ever thought about that? Okay, see? When I'm doing these faces, I'm not looking at anything now. I'm kind of like actively kind of like not focusing too much on what's happening. Try to focus more on, like I said, just having a nice time and hoping that somehow like my creative instincts do something for me. Alright, so now what we'll do is let's add some dark. We need to like really bring up some of this stuff. And I always kind of emphasize a pupil here. And then a tear duct, and then like the outside of the edge of the eye, if that's what you want. And then because she's effeminate, I might imply a eyelash here and here, something like that here. Let's add some darkness in which might be a nostril, and then between where her lips part below her bottom. We're just finding some darker areas. It's still not trying to judge it too much. Just kind of have fun putting some interesting lines together. Alright, so let's do some smudging here. Smudging always stresses me out. Just when I thought I liked the drawing, I smudge it and it completely changes, which can be kind of stressful, But here, you gotta like that's part of the art lesson is like sometimes following a process and not necessarily controlling everything, We're in a world where we can't have control of everything all the time around us, so if you can make some art where you can give up a little bit of control, you can learn in life to live through situations that you don't completely control, you can learn to move through a world successfully and happily, if you can figure out and understand like, hey, I don't have to control everything to really express myself. I don't have to control every moment to really be myself, because you're not going to be able to. And I think sometimes if we can make art in a way that you kind of give up a little bit of control and you just kind of like let life make some decisions and let it kind of unfold in an organic fashion, that maybe we can carry that into our life, into our lives. And that way when something comes up that in a situation where we can't control it, we might say, hey, I've been here before, I thrive here because this feeling, this frustration, this kind of lack of control feels like something I've practiced. And because you've practiced it, when those situations come up in other places in life, you'll be prepared. Sometimes people say art is therapy, and that's the way that art is therapy, is that, there's lessons that you can learn from art that translate into the rest of the parts of your life. And because I do think this may be the last drawing of the evening, I want to tell y'all, Flag, Lily, Peanut, Obscura, Different Me, Amelia, User, Megan, Moonfleck. I want y'all to remember that you're going to deal with conflicts in your life constantly. It might be from school, might be from work, might just be conflicts that you're dealing with yourself, with maybe you're having a health conflict or maybe some kind of mental conflict. Life can be tough on the easiest of days sometimes, and I just want to encourage you to give yourself some grace in those times. But remember that when you do deal with conflict and things like that do arise in your life, that you have a superpower as an artist. You can take all that negative energy and you can channel it into something positive. So you can channel it into a drawing or a video game program, or you can channel it into, Different Me says, I have a conflict, I have scoliosis. Well, that sucks. I'm sorry. I have back pain too sometimes, and I also Flag says sometimes she also is dealing with scoliosis. But we deal with conflicts in our life. It could be, within yourself, within your body, mental health, physical health. It could be conflicts at work. It could be conflicts with your family, conflicts with school, Could be a mental health conflict, some kind of crisis you're dealing with personally. I'm going to show you some details while I'm talking. But I want you to know that you're a superhero. Okay, and you have an inherent skill, you have an inherent superpower where you can take something negative, something sad, something depressive, something that's hurting you, and you can transform it into something positive. So next time you're dealing with conflict or you're dealing with negativity in your life, don't forget that you are a human who has the gift of creativity. And it doesn't have to be pretty. Try to draw something ugly. It doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be wonderful. It could be terrible. Draw something unpleasant on purpose. It doesn't have to be perfect.